Peace. I was on the World Wide Web the other day, and I saw something that seems to be a growing trend in this society, in which there are tons of growing trends in this sick-ass, twisted, bloodthirsty society. I saw a video of a young black mother beating the hell out of her daughter, man. And the most intriguing aspect of the video was that I could not tell which one was the mother or which one was the daughter. I really couldn't. I mean, motherhood is becoming younger and younger within the so-called black community. Within the scope of the so-called black community. The new age grandmother is fucking 30 years old, man. I mean, 28, 29, 30, 31. Some of these young black women are grandmothers at the age of 28, man. I mean, what kind of wisdom can a 28-year-old black girl from the ghetto pass down to her grandchild? And any other child for that matter. Anyway, when the mother started beating the shit out of her daughter, I could distinguish the two at that point. And that leads to today's topic in the corner, you know what I'm saying? The growing trend of beating the shit out of black children and posting the shit on the World Wide Web, man. Now when you look at black people in general, under the system of white supremacy, beating the hell out of black people is nothing new, and everyone knows it. In fact, they teach that shit in their curriculum. When I was 5 years old, they sat me down and basically said, look nigga, this is you. This is us. This is what we did to your black ass for 400 years. And if you get out of line, we will continue to beat your black ass. I mean, beating the shit out of black people has been interwoven into the fabric of American culture, man. Think about this shit, man. Back in American physical slavery, we're what they call chattel slavery. These white supremacists turned that shit into a sport. They used to get high, drunk, all doped up in the head, add more diabolicalism to their already sick and twisted minds. They would take their slaves to an arena, man, and just let them niggas fight. Just think a crowd full of white men, laughing, drinking, celebrating, while these niggas in the middle of the ring just beating each other's brains out, man. And they used to bet money on this shit. Then when it was all said and done, they would take them niggas home and beat them some more, man. Beating the shit out of black people has been interwoven into the fabric of American culture. These white supremacists would take their most prized essential torturing device, which is the bullwhip, and they would beat a nigga within an inch of his life. They didn't give a shit, man, woman, or child. No nigga was exempt from an ass whooping. They beat a nigga within an inch of his life, nursed the nigga back to health, only to repeat the process throughout the nigga's whole physical existence, man. Well, you talking about torture. You talking about agony. You talking about a lifetime of bloody hell. Just think about this shit, man. The same repetitive motion of your ass getting beat to within an inch of your life throughout your whole physical existence. You talking about a bloody hell. And a lot of people don't realize how skilled some black men were with the whip. Some of these so-called slave masters were too cheap to hire poor white men to be a slave driver. So they would get some of their slaves to do it. They would have white overseers and black slave drivers. Anyway, they would have bullwhip competitions and bullwhip challenges where the slave master would take his greatest and most skillful slave driver, which would be a black male, and let him show off his accuracy and his mobility, versatility, agility, and tacticality of handling of a whip. They would have another nigga stand in front of the slave driver, man, about 10 feet away, 20 feet away, and they would call out a body part. For instance, they would make bets to see if the driver could hit the nigga's ear, hit his nose, his eye, and if it was a woman, they could see if he could hit her nipple and shit like that. And guess what happened to the slave driver if he does not live up to the slave master's liking? If the slave master loses money, guess what happened to the slave driver, man? The nigga gets his ass beat. Now, if you synchronize your watch And fast forward the clock all the way up to this present moment, nothing has changed. Nowadays, when niggas start to pulverizing each other, a bunch of people will gather around and pull out their technical devices, man, and start recording that shit. Jumping around yelling world star, sitting around laughing, giggling, joking, drinking, pointing their fingers, having a celebratory moment. Does that shit sound familiar? Does that fucking shit sound familiar, man? Anyway, being that so many centuries have went by and we have been indoctrinated with beating niggas silly, punching niggas drunk and shit, I don't think that it's gonna stop anytime soon, but we can slow it down. There are other alternatives, you know, especially with black children, and that is where we are making a terrible mistake, beating the hell into our children. Whenever you mistreat a black child, or any other child for that matter, you are basically setting off a serious chain of events. Being a child is a very pivotal moment in human life, in which we all know, because that is when the human brain is at its most vital stage. Whenever you are mentally, physically, or verbally abusive towards a child, you start to shut down that child's natural cognitive processes. From my understanding, there's a term called neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the frontal developmental stage of the human brain, and it is most pivotal when the developmental stages are when we are children. It's like this, man. We basically have two brains, a left brain and a right brain. But what makes the left and right brain connect as one is a short, thick cable of nerves that connects the two sides. What makes our left brain and our right brain correlate with one another is a short, thick cable of nerves that connects the two. But whenever you are mentally, physically, or verbally abusive towards a child, that short, thick cable of nerves does not strengthen to its full capacity. And that abuse causes that, man. When you are mentally, physically, or verbally abusive towards a child, that short, thick cable of nerves that connects the two sides of the brain, the electrical currents of that child's cognitive processes and neurotransmitters, does not generate neural circuitry to its maximum capacity or maximum strength. And this shit is part of the reason why we cannot sit still in school. We cannot pay attention for more than 2 minutes. We cannot pick up information at a standard pace. And a shitload of other retarded handicaps that we suffer from. So instead of beating hell into your children, make them do push-ups, make them do sit-ups, make them do jumping jacks, make them do calisthenics. The main ideal of black discipline is physical punishment, right? Well, make your child exert himself or herself physically. Make them do 100 push-ups. That'll make them think twice about being disobedient. And the more they disobey, the more physical exertion they will have to expound upon. You see what I'm saying? Not only will they be physically punished, but they will also be building muscle. And as a matter of fact, they will pick up other positive accolades along the way, like integrity, honor, respect, and discipline. You see what I'm saying? You see how you take physical punishment and physical exertion and turn it into something positive? And the same thing can be done with the mental plane. Whenever a black child is being disobedient, make them read a book. It is already known that many black people do not like to read, especially black males. So when a black child is being disobedient, as a disciplinary punishment, make them read a book. And whenever they get finished with that book, make them write a report on that book. Make them write a report about every aspect of what they have read. Or you can make them write a story. Let them dig deep into the cracks and the crevices of their young creative minds and create a story for themselves. And the more that they are disobedient, the more that they will have to write. Like I said, man, There are other alternatives to beating the hell out of black people all the damn time. Especially young black children. Fuck it, man. I'm out. Peace.